That sounds encouraging.
G'day, everybody. Thank you for joining us for happy hours this evening. Happy Friday. Oh, Sharon Dita, it's so good to see you, sweetheart. Thank you for everyone who's joining us. Oh, we've got a few from Australia today. Shannon, good to see you as well. Thank you for joining us. We'll just wait a few more minutes while people join. We have two very special guests with us today. Sebastien, what are you drinking, Sebastien?
Greetings. Like this is much better, I think.
There you go. Cheers. Remember, this is a happy hour, everybody. And Kristin, what are you drinking today?
Hello, Corinne, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. So I'm also having a white wine here. It's only 4 o'clock in California. I'm usually a red wine drinker, but that makes me too sleepy for this time of the day. So I have a Sauvignon Blanc here.
I love it. Bernard, Eddie, good to see you from Australia. Thank you for turning your camera on. Absolutely lovely to see you. So you're on mute at the moment, and I know May's at work, so send
there we go. How's that? Is that better?
Much better. G'day. What are you drinking?
How are you? Water, mate. It's only 11 o'clock in the morning here.
That's unusual.
It's 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock in the morning tomorrow for you, Mob.
There you go. This is true. Exactly right. Looking forward to seeing you in September.
Yeah, sounds good.
Great. Yes. Okay. Excellent. Oh, lovely. So we've got a few more people coming in from Michigan and from Texas. So Dylan, g'day, Dylan. How are you in Michigan? Zach is just connecting now. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. So we're just going to run through a little housekeeping here, and then we're going to get rolling because we've got Kristin here for just a few moments, and very happy to have you here. So thank you so much for joining us, Kristin.
Oh, and thanks for having me.
If you feel like turning your camera on, Dylan, hello.
Hi.
G'day, Ray.
Good day.
There you go. We've got Aussies representing. Hello, Dennis. So we shall commence, and we've just got some happy hours, and we encourage everybody to grab a glass and just some little housekeeping while we do a presentation here, so we can record it for those who cannot be here this evening. If you could just mute your microphones, and at the end, since we're a nice intimate group, we'll actually open it up and you can ask your questions directly. And in the meantime, if you've got a question, make sure you pop it in the chat box. Feel free to turn your camera on. We'd love to see your smiling faces. So Barbara, hello, Washington. And so it's lovely to see everybody here. And feel free to ask those questions. There's no question we won't answer, maybe, right, Sebastien?
Time will tell. Time will tell.
So we're going to start with Kristin. And just really quickly, Kristin, I wanted to make sure you saw that gorgeous photo with Helene. I'm really looking forward to seeing her. But Kristin, she is our special, very, very special guest to start with this evening. She's co-founder and co-owner of AmaWaterways. So thank you so much for taking time. I know how incredibly busy you are right now, and the team. It's wonderful to hear. But I thought we'd just ask a little bit about what Ama is doing in the next chapter, what makes it exciting, what makes you unique and special, and why does Ama stand out in the river cruising industry?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for leading in so beautifully, Corinne, and hello, everyone. It's really, really my pleasure to be here. I know you're a fun group, and I wish I could be cruising with you in September. So AmaWaterways is celebrating its 20th anniversary in July this year. Cannot believe how fast the time has flown. In these years, we have built 29 ships. Can you believe it? 25. We start now to operate again on March 6th with the very first one, the Ama Magna, because the things are really, really looking bright again with all the protocols relaxing just a little bit more now in Europe to enter. And, you know, we always have built our ships, I say, quality over quantity. The ships are uniquely designed. Every ship is its own beauty. twin balcony ships. You will be on the Ama Christina, of course, when you go to the Rhone River with us, where you can be outside, you can be inside, you have lots of room, beautifully appointed, and of course, a wonderful dining room and our chef's table restaurant with a very special chef's table menu as well. But wonderful things on board are, in addition to the great food and cuisine, and this part of France, the Rhone River, is one of my favorite ones also in terms of cuisine, because everything what you get there is so fresh, so tasty. So our culinary director, he's actually part of the Chain de Rôtisseurs, as well as he was voted into Table Auberge, two very prestigious French culinary organizations. And I don't want to say more about the food because you will be so pleasantly surprised. Obviously, we include all the wines, wonderful local wines. With the lunch, with the dinner, we have our happy hour, we call it sip and sail. The hour after you come back from your included shore excursions, you sit down for your social hour, while the cruise manager is, of course, giving you all the information for the next day, all these excursions that you can join again. And then you will just have a fantastic dinner affair. Don't forget to bring, maybe if you like, you don't have to, but also some activity outfit, because part of the shore excursions are hiking and biking tours next to culinary tours. And Sebastien will talk later about these, even a truffle hunting will be part of it. But also we have a dedicated wellness host on board. And so often I see the ladies at 7 in the morning doing core and stretch exercises. In September, you can do it on the sun deck. The weather will be so beautiful there, but also yoga, Pilates. So it will be a wonderful, wonderful cruise, or you just decide to do nothing. Enjoy the food, the wines, read a book, do the tours, or just enjoy everything what you see along the rivers. The Ama Christina is, of course, near and dear to my heart. In 2017, that's when we inaugurated the ship. I had the honor to become the godmother of my namesake ship. And the ship was originally created for the Elbe River, a river in Germany that we don't sail because of the water problems with the climate change, low water. And so we decided we start with the ship on the Rhine, and then we moved it to France, to the Rhone, because it's just so beautifully appointed. And with the French flair and the charm, it's just wonderful to have this ship there. We also have a second ship there, the Amacello, which I'm not talking about today, but they are all beautiful because the ship is the hardware. But what you will experience when you come on board is the people. And you will step on board, you will become immediately part of the family. Everyone is so genuine. They anticipate your needs. The hotel manager, Eddie, he is on board since the Ama Christina started. He worked his way up. He's with us for more than 15 years now. And this is what I'm so proud of, because so many of our crew members, cruise managers, team members are so loyal to AmaWaterways over all these years. And we were also one of the very few cruise lines who cruised last year until the end of the season. So we cruised for half a year, despite of COVID and certain lockdowns in certain areas. But we felt we wanted to show a positive message. We wanted to ensure that our people stay employed, make money, our families have their Christmas, and the same with the guides that you will have when you do your shore excursions, because we truly believe if you are loyal to your people are loyal to you. And that makes it such a fun, wonderful family working environment. That was a long introduction, wasn't it?
That was a fantastic introduction, because there is so much that is special about Ama, and I really appreciate you popping in, Kristin. So cheers to you and what you have created, and that they're excited to share that with the rest of the world over and over again. So one last quick question, and then we'll hand over to Sebastien, who's going to take us through the journey and take us day by day, and we're going to see what he's drinking and all those fun things. But what's next on the horizon for Ama?
Oh yeah, obviously we are European owned, so Europe is where we have most of our ships. However, we also have beautiful ship on the Mekong River in Vietnam and Cambodia. In Africa, we just started with our Amadalia in Egypt on the Nile River. Highly successful product, less than 70 guests on board. And we have the Zambezi Queen in Africa. That's where Zambia, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and Botswana meet, about 1.5 hours away from Victoria Falls. 28 guests only on this luxurious ship. But the newest one we are currently working on is a very new river. Nobody has been there before. And this is the Rio Magdalena in Colombia. Colombia is really cleaning up. It's an amazing destination, from the nature, all the birds, the animals, everything, the culture, the colors, the food, all these tastings. So this will be another small ship, and we plan to start on Rio Magdalena with a 7-night cruise between Cartagena. And I know you're right now in Florida. And from Florida, from Miami, you fly only 3 hours to Cartagena. Such a short ride. And we go from there to the northern part of Colombia, Barranquilla, also a city very much known for the carnival. And Shakira was even born there. You might know her, of course.
Fabulous.
And will, of course, connect the 7-night program with pre and post land programs in Colombia and maybe also Ecuador. So very excited, starting in early 2024.
Thank you so much, Kristin. Cheers to you, and celebrating everything that you created, and so that we can explore the world in style. Thank you so much for bringing the world a little closer to us today. Sebastien, I'm handing over to you, matey. What's in your glass that you're drinking?
So I'm talking about France tonight, and as a good French, I have to have a French wine in there. So it's a wine that is a Chardonnay from Meursault. So Meursault is a very small village in Burgundy, and they make 90% of white wine. So it's very dry, it's very nice. And you will get to actually experience that when you're on the cruise, because we will take you a little bit north of Lyon. These are really, really nice wines. We always say in French that they have a taste of comeback. You know, and that's really a French saying. I mean, un goût de reviens-y. So this means you finish it and you want to go back to the same wine all the time. And you will see, we have quite a few nice destinations with quite a few different wines. And I guess we will start talking about that in a few moments now. What I would like to do first, and Kristin did that, and it's always a tough act to follow when you have Kristin in front of you. But I've had the chance to be working with AmaWaterways for 10 years now, actually. And you just heard, we have now 29 ships. What was very surprising for me, last Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning, open my computer. What is there? An email from the owner, from Kristin, saying, hey, thank you for all you've done. You've been here for 10 years. I don't know many companies that do that, where the owner takes the time to just send you a little email to say, thank you. You've been with us for 10 years, 7 years on the ships, or 8 years, and now helping in Florida. So thank you, Kristin, and thank you all for being here. And you will see, I'm really excited to show you a little bit what you will see, what my country has to offer. I cannot show you everything, but I'll do my best to make sure that you will want after that to visit the other rivers, because they are all absolutely incredible. And look at that. I have the same background as you now. You see, it's
included.
Huh?
Cat included.
Yeah.
People, don't forget to pop in the chat box if you have questions. Please, we will definitely address them, or comments. So please, what are you drinking? Join us here. This is absolutely interactive for sure.
Yeah, no, it is. Feel free to interrupt me because, you know, I've been a cruise manager, so I've spent a lot of time on our ships. So feel free, please, to interrupt, because if you don't stop me, I'll talk for a long time, a very long time, and I can do it without stopping for a very long time, trust me. So just actually, you might want to say a little something about yourself before I start talking for 45 minutes straight.
Sure, absolutely. So a lot of the people on this call know who we are. I'm actually from Australia. I moved over in 1996 with Tourism Australia. And so it was a case with Paul Hogan, throw another shrimp on the Barbie commercials. I think a lot of you would remember those. And it came over with the Aussie helpline. And if you called that 800 number, you likely would have gotten me. And so from there in 98, I decided to start my own travel company, Down Under Endeavours, because I wanted people to see the South Pacific through the eyes of a local. I wanted you to meet the locals. I wanted you to experience the great destinations, food, wine, wildlife, culture, without just grazing by. So that's where it all began. The passion evolved. And so now the river cruising component, as some of you have been along with a couple now, is a gift and an experience for those who've traveled with us before. And so this is a chance to ask questions, and it's a really special occasion, but we've expanded the portfolio as you have requested. And these are very special destinations and special people and experiences that we love. And so Sebastien, thank you so much for having a bevy with us tonight. And Sebastian's a golfer, so if we don't address it during it, at the end of this, we'll be talking golf opportunities as well. So thanks, mate.
Good. My pleasure, my pleasure. So we'll talk a little bit about the colors of Provence. That's the name of the trip. So of course, Kristin mentioned the ship, and of course we are a river cruise line. That's the only thing we do. We have, I believe, pretty much the best at what we do out there. And you see here that Paris is also highlighted and Barcelona is also highlighted. Because on every trip, we will offer a pre-land extension and also a post-land extension. And I'm sure that you are all aware of that. What I will do is that I will give you a brief descriptions of these pre and post extensions and talk to you about the highlights, what it is that you will enjoy. And for those of you who have not been on a river cruise before, first of all, if you have questions, there is no dumb question, okay? There can only be dumb answers. That's what I always say. So feel free. There's nothing, if you've not experienced it, it is normal that there will be things that you don't know. So feel free to ask. I'll be very happy to answer the best I can. But I will show you a brief video that will give you an introduction of what AmaWaterways is, who we are, and what we do, if it wants to start.
Step aboard a world of exceptional experiences, where your journey is our passion. Allow us to share villages that time forgot. Walk along cobblestone streets filled with the lights. Paddle through historic town squares. And revel in moments that last a lifetime. When you step aboard AmaWaterways, each day brings a genuine smile that warms the heart. Every river a new culture that inspires. And each course a moment to savor and share. Experience these wonders and delights with AmaWaterways, the heart of the river.
Nice video, I like that. Yeah.
I like it too. Now the only question is, how do I get out of it? There you go.
Well done.
Always the same. But it's, you know, when I look at this video, that we have a lot of amazing videos. I mean, I don't know if you saw, but so there was Valentine's Day, and we just had one with our cruise managers who, I mean, my colleagues, I mean, many of them who I've been working with for years, where they were basically wishing our guests and everybody happy Valentine's Day from everywhere where they were. And I look at that, and you've seen, I mean, we had a very nice shot on the at the House of the Parliament in Budapest. But something that I mentioned to friends of mine, because I've seen in the chat that there is already a question about the demographics, and I'll address that because it's a very, very valid point, very important question. And I guess the best answer I can give you for that, I'm taking a group of friends this summer. So we are starting in Istanbul, and then we will board the AmaMagna, which is our widest ship, but it's on the Danube, and we're going all the way up to Budapest and then finishing in Vienna. So the average age there, I mean, I'm the oldest, I'll be 45, and then all the rest, I mean, we're between 38, 40, 42, and what I cannot tell you exactly what the age demographic will be on your cruise. What I can tell you is that we're the only river cruise line out there with an average age that is under 60. And that you won't find any on other river cruise lines. So that's something very important. I think it has to do with all these active options that we've been implementing since 2017 is really when we started with our wellness program. But before that, we had the hikes, we had the bike tours, etc. From the very beginning, and all this actually has been made possible by the design of the ship. It's very interesting because all starts with the design of the ship. Because for those of you who have never been on a river cruise ship, there is one thing that 99% of the river cruise ships in Europe have in common. It's the size. Okay, it's the length, the width, and the height, because they have to go under the same bridges when they're on the same river. And they also have to fit in the locks, right? If your ship is too long, you don't fit in the lock. If you don't fit in the lock, you go nowhere. So that's not a very good thing. So what's very important is once you know this volume that you have, what do I do with this volume? How many guests do I put on board? What amenities do I put on board? Do I put one restaurant? Do I put two? Do I have a spa? Do I put a fitness center? A pool? And everything that I'm telling you, we have that because we have less guests. Okay, so the important, and I think Kristin mentioned that, is the luxury of space. We've been talking about that even pre-COVID. We did not know that it would become so important, but it is something that is really unique. And the Ama Cristina is a beautiful ship. From the exterior, you will see that our ships, because you will I hope in the future go on other ships, and you will see that from the exterior they're very distinct. You recognize them very easily, and the inside, as Kristin said, is very well appointed. So what you see here, for example, that's and I wrote connected in every way, because a big question nowadays is, do you have Wi-Fi on board? Well, yes. I mean, if you don't have Wi-Fi, then you're not going to make a lot of friends these days. So Wi-Fi, of course, is on board. Wi-Fi is complimentary. So you have, as you see, a computer in every stateroom, and you also have the possibility to connect up to 3 devices per stateroom. Okay, and if you're undecided, you have not booked your cruise yet, which you will hopefully do by the end of this hour. You have the possibility to go also with family. And that's why this actually is a connecting stateroom. We have staterooms that connect with each other if you are 3 or 4 people. The food, she mentioned the food, Kristin mentioned the food, and I won't go too long with it, but very important to me is the fact that nothing on board our ships is frozen. And when I say nothing, it's not even the bread, okay? We have our baker on board at 2 o'clock in the morning. You can be sure he's preparing the bread fresh every day. And it is very important to have nothing frozen because it allows us to really cater to every possible diet or dietary restriction that anybody could have, right? We have 2 different restaurants on board. So we have the main dining room, which looks like this, if it wants to go. There you go. So that's our main dining room. So that's where we have breakfast, lunch, dinner. So everything is served. I mean, you see here a little buffet. That's actually, I will have to tell you that this was a picture that was pre-COVID. The buffet, Rudy was always against buffets, and I mean Kristin as well. And I give them, they have a very, very valid point, because we had a conversation one time, and Rudy said the problem with a buffet, if you want to something that is considered luxury, getting up and getting your food on your own, that's not what he considers luxury. If you're served, yes, that's much nicer. So that's why we got rid of the buffets, and we have this main dining room, and then we have the chef's table. So that's where you see our chef here, Pavel, preparing. So it's a live cooking experience. So the chef's table is a very intimate setting because it's only for 24 people at a time. 28, sorry, 28. We have there a tasting menu, as you can see on the left part of the picture. These are very small dishes, a lot of wine, a lot of nice wines. It's what we call a tasting menu, but that's also a wine pair dinner. And all the wines, when we're talking about lunch and dinner, they are included. Beer, soft drinks, etc. That's all included. Champagne is included at breakfast. Christine mentioned the happy. We'll call it the happy hour. We call it sip and sail because it sounds nicer, but it's really an open bar. So that's every day. That's every day, 1 hour before dinner. And I'm not saying from 6 to 7. I'm really saying 1 hour before dinner, because you will see that during your cruise, all the afternoon tours will not come back at the same time. So we actually move the dinner times based on the return time of the excursions. And we don't want everybody to rush in to go to dinner. When you come back from a tour, you want to relax, you want to talk with your friends. I like to call it the social hour, actually, this sip and sail, because that's really where you see everybody, especially if you go with a big group. You will have a lot of excursions that you will have the choice that you will have to choose from. And some of you will go on a hike, some of you will go on a city tour, maybe the active tour, but the others will go on a gentle tour. And what happens at the end of the day, some of you will go on the bike, everybody comes back, you talk about the guide, you talk about what you saw, it's a very big exchange. It's a very nice moment.
Sebastien, if we could elaborate a little bit on that, because one of the questions was, what is a day like? And just to touch really quickly on it, Julie, we actually have the group that's going with us in September ranges as age from early 40s to early 70s. And from that, some of the people will go out on, there's usually 5 tours, lots of options from steady, hardly any walking, mostly driven around, to hiking up to a castle, to biking along with the vessel along the river, and you can pick and choose. So Sebastien, if you could take me just really quickly and take everyone through what a normal day would look like transitioning into this, and then the food. You can do room dining, you can do on the top deck dining, you can do the chef's table, which I always book for everybody because it's a culinary experience. It's so much fun and lots of laughs. But talk us through a day, what a normal day looks like.
So a normal day, a day at AmaWaterways on a river cruise. First of all, when we're talking, if you want to start early, you will be able to start with the wellness. A wellness session. So in the morning, you have the wellness host who will always be hosting before the breakfast. You will have the possibility to do short classes. There are 3 different classes in a row. You just pop in, you arrive, you sign a waiver, of course. They always do that. But basically, you will have different classes. So you will have you will have the possibility to do a core strengthening class. The next one will be an introduction to yoga. The other one will be stretching. And you see on the screen, you see gentle walking, regular walking, active walking. We have 3 levels of excursion. We also have 3 levels of exercising, because we know, and I can tell you, I mean, if I do stretching, I'm not bad at rotating when I'm hitting a golf club, but a part of that, I look more like a piece of wood than anything else. And so the stretching is something where I will take the easy one. Okay, and you have my wife who would be next to me, and she will take the advanced. I mean, that's something where you would start. If you don't want to do that in the morning, we have the early risers breakfast. Okay, the early risers breakfast, that's a buffet that is in the lounge before the regular breakfast. So you have 1 hour early risers, then you have 2 hours breakfast, then you have 1 hour late riser breakfast. So there you already have 4 hours where you can really start eating, and then you have to be careful, because there's a hole with 2 hours where there's no food. So you have to be really careful with that. So what happens after breakfast? Usually we will go on an excursion. Okay, so everybody will be called. So the excursions, we don't like to start before 9 o'clock. Okay, there are a very few exceptions, but it's not on the itinerary where you're going, so we'll not even go into that. But so 9 o'clock, and then you start with the tour, depending on where you will go. For example, let's say that you would be in Lyon, so you will start with a city tour of Lyon. You will be called on your buses because Lyon is a big city, so you will not be able to do everything by walk. If you want to do everything by walk, we have a hike from Lyon. And that's a nice one. So you walk about 7.5 miles, and you go up the hill. And what I would like to do actually to show you a little bit of that. So these are just a few examples of the hikes and the bike tours and the special interest tours, but we'll go on our itinerary, see wellness activities. And so Bienvenue en France, we'll go on our itinerary so that you can really understand what's happening. And so we will have the pre-extension in Paris, and that's how we will start it. In order to not just go through one day, we will go through the cruise. Then this way you will know exactly what's awaiting you. So if you have the pre-cruise extension in Paris, what happens? So if you have the air with us, and even if you don't have the air with us, when you arrive, you will see AmaWaterways people at the airport immediately. Okay, and so for those of you who have transfers included, you will be brought to the hotel, and at the hotel you will meet with your cruise manager, because the cruise manager is also there on the pre and post extension. There will be a cocktail because you want to start the right way. So there will be a cocktail immediately when you arrive at 6 p.m. The first day, and there we will talk a little bit about what happens tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, for transport. And the next morning you will have the city tour of Paris. Bus tour and walking tour lasts about 4.5 hours, and you will have the choice again with these walking paces and how long you want to walk. Okay, after that you will have an afternoon, a free afternoon. You will have some free time, and then the next day you will have the visit of Montmartre. So Montmartre is where you have, everybody knows the Sacré-Cœur, which is the basilica, you know, I mean, at the top of the hill. I personally much prefer Montmartre for its recent history, because everybody knows the Moulin Rouge. I mean, the Moulin Rouge was kind of famous, but then came this movie with Nicole Kidman, and all of a sudden, I mean, the Moulin Rouge was the thing. If you ask French people, the Moulin Rouge is not the best, but that's how it became famous. I mean, in our modern days. But Montmartre was very famous in the 19th century for the Bohème. So La Bohème were all these. This was this way of life, you know, like let go a little bit, don't be so rigid. And you had some painters like Toulouse-Lautrec, for example, who was the most famous, and he painted these dancers, these ladies. The most famous of them was Lagoulou, and they were painting at the top at Montmartre, and you had these little spaces where they could paint and you could have a portrait or something, and you will see that. You go there because the painters are still there now. It's not something that died in the past. You can go there and you can even get your portrait made there. But you will visit, of course, the Sacré-Cœur, and then you have a magnificent view on Paris because you're approximately 350 feet above the entire rest of the town. So you will have a great view on the Eiffel Tower. You will see in the left bank of Paris, you will see an absolutely hideous tower, which is the Montparnasse Tower. That's the only other tower in Paris. And it's the guy who designed this in the 1960s had no better idea to make it black. So you can imagine it's a beautiful picture. But so you will have a great view, and then you go down with the funicular, so a cable car basically, and then you have some free time. You get ready because the next day we transfer to Lyon. Okay, so transfer to Lyon. Your cruise manager will give you all the instructions at what time you should have the luggage out. You don't carry anything. The only thing we ask you is please put the luggage outside your room at this time. Make sure you've taken your breakfast, and off we go, because we will go there by bullet train. Okay, so the bullet train, that's the TGV. So you will be joining, so basically the two cities, Paris and Lyon, in 2 hours. So this means that your train will be traveling at an average pace of 200 miles an hour, and you don't feel anything. It's absolutely wonderful. And voila, that's Lyon. Okay.
Sebastien,
so Lyon,
one quick question.
Yeah.
In 30 seconds, what's your favorite golf course in Paris? If we've got a bucket list to check, recommendation.
The Golf National is a great golf course. So that's where we had the last Ryder Cup. Actually, I was there. I took a group of golfers with me. I must tell you, the Golf National is great. You can play it because it's a public course. I would recommend to book, to reserve tee times early. I think you can reserve up to 3 months ahead. So pretty much in about 1 or 2 months, you can do that. They have rentals. They have very good quality rentals. There's a lot of water. Okay, I mean, if you've seen the Ryder Cup, you've seen that there is a lot of water on this course. It's a beautiful one, but then you also have the Golf Club of Boulogne, which Le Bois de Boulogne is this little mini forest just on the northwest part of Paris, and there is a beautiful golf course there as well that can be played.
Thank you. So those who are interested, let me know at the end of this who have already booked for September, and we'll gather our golfers together and decide how many days ahead of the cruise you need to arrive.
Yeah, it's really, you have a lot of great courses around Paris, and then in Normandy, and Normandy is not far. If you want to do a day trip to Normandy golf, because there is, for example, the Omaha Beach golf course, and that's you're golfing hole number 8. You're looking at Omaha Beach, and you see the barges at low tide. It's absolutely amazing. But I mean, we can do another presentation about the golf course.
Yes, we could.
But you see, so we're in Lyon, and Lyon is absolutely amazing. So if you see, so you see here in the middle of the screen, you see the first river. So that's the Saône River. So that's the little one. This one goes north. It goes to Burgundy. And then if you look where my cursor is, and I hope everybody can see my cursor moving.
Yes.
So this is the Rhone River. And if you look, what I'm circling now, these are the cruise ships. So you're in the heart of the city, okay? This square here, it's called La Place Bellecour. It's the largest square in France, actually. And the statue that you see here in the middle, it's an equestrian statue of Louis XIV. It's absolutely superb. And you can just walk there. That's a 10, 15 minutes walk at most. And here, the entire area is pedestrian. So it's absolutely superb. You see, you have a few streets, one here, but everywhere inside here, it's pedestrian. Heart of the shopping area. Then you have this area here that you will discover as well. So Le Vieux Lyon, so Old Lyon, with the cathedral, Saint-Jean. And that's also, it's a great area, also pedestrian, if you want to go and have a lunch or a dinner outside, because that's the beauty of it. You will have the time for that. Of course, everything is included on the ship. But I mean, if you're going to be in the really food capital of France, I think it would be sad not to eat a salad lyonnaise or something like that. And you can do
love that. Yeah, it's highly encourage that for sure.
Oh, definitely. And when you go there, they have these restaurants called les bouchons lyonnais, right? That's the bouchon, so the cork, the bouchons lyonnais. If you see something that looks nice and tidy, don't go there. That's a tourist trap. If it looks like not straight, and that's where you want to go, because that's where you have it's still held by the families, etc. And that's where you will get the real food. Not the, if it looks too nice, too modern, that's not a good place to go. And so that's another view from the Saône River. And so the hike, you see the first picture that I just showed you, this one, is taken from here. You see that's the basilica. So you have, I showed you the cathedral at the bottom, but the basilica is at the top of the hill. So the hike goes from the ship, crosses the city, and you go up there, and then you walk back, take another way, because so you cannot see it here, but in this entire area here, that's where you have the Roman artifacts. So there's an amphitheater, and there's also an Odeon. So you can see all that. It's a really interesting city, because it truly has 2,400 years of history, and you can see these 2,400 years when you walk through. That's really a great trip. So that's the tour in the morning. Some free time, of course, in the afternoon, and there you will have the possibility to come back to the ship. I don't recommend that. Okay, your guides will tell you how to get back to the ship. You can't get lost. I mean, once you pass the first river, you have to go to the second one to go to your ship. If you stop at the first one, you will not find the ship. I guarantee you that. Okay, so you will see all that, and it's really a great city to get lost in. And these are the specialties that you will get. So the Beaujolais wines, okay, Beaujolais just north of Lyon, Burgundy. So technically, Beaujolais is part of Burgundy, administratively speaking. But in terms of wine regions, never ever tell a guy from the Beaujolais, a winemaker from the Beaujolais, that he's from Burgundy, and vice versa, because they will both kill you. These are different areas. The Beaujolais people, and it's very easy. The Beaujolais only has one kind of grape. It's the Gamay. Okay. The Burgundy people only have one kind for the red, which is the Pinot Noir. Okay. And then you have 1.5 kind, I would say, for the white. The real one, this Chardonnay. Okay. And then the other one is called Bourgogne Aligoté. So the Aligoté is an autochtone grape. Very, very easy everyday drinking wine. A little bit of acidity there. You will see. I mean, my advice is test them all. Test them all, and then you find out which one you like.
Sebastien, any quick recommendations if someone wants to have a taste before they go of a label to try here in the US? For the Burgundy wines, actually, yes. If you guys have Total Wines in your area, for example, or if anybody is up north in Chicago, you have Binny's. So if you go and you have a winemaker, his name is Louis Jadot. So Louis, Louis, and then Jadot, Jadot. So basically what happens with Jadot, he's a winemaker, and he became so famous with his wine selections. You know, it's always in the US, you always have these Alfio Morricone selections of wines. That's absolutely terrible. But Louis Jadot is a French guy, and he brings the wine. He brings small winemakers, so you will have his name, but then you will see the property. He has pretty decent wines. But I'm happy to write a list of a few things that are available. If anybody wants a detailed list afterwards, pop your name in chat just to let us know. Thanks, Sebastien.
Sure. So you see, there are a lot of things, and there is a tour. If you don't want to do the city tour because, I don't know, you've been to Lyon or you're not interested, there is a bike ride. There is also a culinary tour, okay, which will take you to the Alpes Bocuse, because Paul Bocuse, of course, was from just a little tiny village just north of Lyon. And the market hall is named after him. And this market hall is absolutely amazing. And we take you there, and we have different stops so that you can really taste the different foods. So really a great experience there. Then you continue cruising. You go to Vienne, and Vienne, so not Vienna, okay? Vienne is about an hour south. With the ship, it will take 2 hours. It's south from Lyon. It is a very interesting town. Because if you look at the top right, on the top of the hill, you see this 13th century ruin. Okay. Now you look here in the middle, what I'm circling. So you see, if you look at this window, you see that it's not pointed, which means that it's Romanesque. So Romanesque means before the 12th century. So that's already older. But then there's one thing that you can't see from here, but trust me, it is there. So you see this little box there. That's 2,000 years old. That's a Roman temple, completely intact. It's called the Temple of Augustus and Livia. And you will get to see that because the ship is docked right here. So behind that's the cathedral, actually. And the ship is docked right there. So you walk there. And a little tip, when you walk back to the ship after this, when you stop in a boulangerie, you stop in a bakery and you buy a baguette. I don't know who that is.
We're just about to mute her. 1 second.
So buy a baguette, okay? A French baguette. I mean, okay, if you have a gluten allergy, don't buy a baguette, okay? It's full of gluten. But if you don't, buy a baguette and do like the French. When my mom sent me buy the bread, because we do that every day, of course, you get it fresh at the baker. You will see that on the way back, you will already have eaten at least half of it. It's so good when it's warm. It's absolutely crazy. And they have super nice little bakeries there. And it is a very fascinating little town because this was the favorite city actually of Thomas Jefferson. and I was talking with Doug, with Corinne's husband the other day, and it's really amazing. The people really know the history of Thomas Jefferson. There is even right next to the temple. So actually in these houses here, there is a big sign with when Thomas Jefferson resided there, when he was ambassador of the United States to France, and he loved to come to Vienna. It's really an amazing place. It's for those of you who know, for example, about silk. You know Hermès, so you say Hermès, but in French you say Hermès. Okay, the carré, so the square, the silk square of Hermès. It's actually the history of it starts right behind this hill, Pierre Bénite, and that's why when you will be in Lyon as well, they still have the manufacturers, the silk manufacturers, and there will be actually most likely a demonstration coming on board. So very, very interesting to see how they all do that. Then we continue.
That's one of my favorite things is with Ama. We all have a nice morning exploring, those who want to get up early, those who want to get up late, but then we WhatsApp each other and say we've meandered and found a really beautiful outdoor area to have a glass of something. And it's the time to go back and explore. You've got enough to be dangerous, but that's what I love about amateuring is that you just get in and find your own little hidden gem down through the little hidden alleys and arcades. And so that's just rounds it out so complete. I really enjoy that.
And I agree. And the more you go there, what I really like, because how many, I mean, as a French, you know, and now I live, I mean, we are talking on Zoom, but I'm approximately 10 miles away from Corinne and from Doug at the moment. I mean, they're in Naples, I'm in Naples too. And when I'm here and all these people come to me and they say, oh yeah, I know France, I've been to Paris. I'm like, well, you don't know France, you know Paris a little bit. And that the amazing thing here, you will really see France, what it has to offer. This little village, I mean, believe it or not, what you see here, so the ship will be docked in Tournon, and there is an absolutely amazing tour there. I mean, they're all amazing, but one that I particularly love, it's a chocolate and wine pairing. And it might sound bizarre, but the gentleman who makes the chocolates, Alain Bern is his name, and he used to be, when we started this, so we started it in 2012, and he had just been elected best chocolate maker in France. Meilleur ouvrier de France, and he did not speak a word of English, but he was so interested. He wanted it, and we were translating as a cruise manager. We were translating what he was saying from French to English, and now you go to him, and he learned everything, all the technical terms, etc., so that you can know so that he can converse with you on that. And this little village here, that's Tain-l'Hermitage. So these vineyards here are very famous. They're called Crozes-Hermitage vineyards. And you have two very big families, Chapoutier and Jaboulet. But a little anecdote there, that's where the wine for, I cannot say wine for blind people, but pretty much, yes. You know, when you're blind, you cannot read an etiquette. And Chapoutier was the first who put Braille on the labels of wine in this little village. Why? Because his wife has lost sight. And so he decided to find a way to make that work. And these you have little anecdotes everywhere on these rivers, and you will be, you will love this area. Very small wineries, there is no Napa Valley with hundreds of acres. That doesn't exist, or like in Bordeaux. I mean, a big exploitation, a family exploitation will be like 10 acres. That's big. 10 acres is big there. But the wines are absolutely amazing. I mean, that's Cornas, for example. So that's just a little bit south. And that's, here you have, that's mostly white wine. That's when you pass the city of Valence, and you will see all these landscape coming. That's what you see during the day. That's very important. We want you also to cruise and have some daytime cruising, because if it's just to be on the ship and cruise at night and you see nothing, it doesn't make any sense. So you will see that. I used to go as a kid. See, that's a medieval village called Crussol, and my aunt, she lives down here. And so as a kid, when they wanted to make us tired, they sent us up there and then back down. And then if it was not enough in the morning, they did that again in the afternoon, and then everybody went to bed at night. But these are, these are really amazing areas. and you will be then arriving, you continue south, so you arrive in the land of the truffles and in the land of the lavender. And actually Grignan, you see a castle here. This was the castle of the Comtesse de Sévigné, Madame de Sévigné, who was, as far as I'm concerned, probably the most important writer in French history. Actually, when I was a kid, we all had to read les lettres. She had a correspondence with her daughter, and they wrote to each other about 1,000 letters. And this is a must read when you're in high school in France. They removed that for a couple of years, and then they saw that the quality of the spelling of the kids was becoming so miserable. Clack, they put that back in. But that's where you have at the bottom. So you will see the lavender, and the lavender is very interesting in this area because it's not the main product. The lavender is only here when the truffle trees, so the oaks, and this is a very specific kind of oaks that you need to have the truffles. And when the oak is approximately 25 years old, they kill. I mean, it will not produce anymore, the truffle, and you will learn all that. But then what do? In order to remineralize the soil, they put the lavender in. So you will see all that, and we will take you. So you will have different options, but I strongly recommend go truffle hunting. Go there, you will learn a lot. I mean, with a gentleman whose name is Serge, absolutely amazing, a wealth of knowledge, very funny, because he doesn't speak a word of English except when it comes to money. I mean, when he wants to sell his stuff, yeah, then he speaks English. And you will learn about the winter truffle, the summer truffle. I mean, if you don't know it already, but it's really a great area. Then you arrive to Avignon. So Avignon, and I made a promise already that I would not sing the Pont d'Avignon because we want everybody to stay on this call. But
it's put at the end afterwards for those who
yeah, that's after 3 bottles. That's the famous Pont d'Avignon from the song, the Pont Saint-Bénézet. But what you will visit is this area here. And just for you to know, the ship, so you could not see, but I mean, you cannot see, but if we would just basically from the bridge, right, so you see that there is a little pathway here, and you will go approximately 100 yards, and the ship is right there. So that's the entrance. That's one entrance gate to the city. You see, Avignon is completely fortified. It still has, that's why it's a very unique UNESCO World Heritage Site, because it is completely preserved. All the gates are here. So that what you see there that looks like a gigantic defense fortress, that's the palace of the popes. These were rebel popes. And why does it look like that? Because on the other side of the river, where this picture is taken, and actually it's not the exact other side of the river, that's an island where the picture is taken. But that's France. And then during the 12th century, 11th century, this was not France. It was called Contavenesin, and these were rebel popes who did not like Rome. So you will learn about all this. And I hope that everybody has noticed that I did not talk one time about shopping yet.
Actually, I'm very impressed about that. And I'm surprised we haven't had one single chat question about that yet.
But if you want to do shopping, that's the place. And I'm not, and because I did not say anything earlier, but that's when Kristin said, oh yeah, I see the ladies going to the gym in the morning. I see a lot of gentlemen too. It's not only the ladies, okay? And now to go back to the shopping, it's not only shopping for ladies. There's also great shopping for gentlemen there. I mean, the Rue Saint-Agricole, you will love that. It's an amazing place. And there is ample free time everywhere. I saw that there was a question in the chat with, is there time for golf? You can always make time for golf. That's never a problem. But before that, I would strongly recommend to take a look at what is offered to your eyes there, because these are truly amazing little cities that you will see there. You will have even culinary tastings, etc. There is a very nice course, very close in Aix-en-Provence. So it's about 30 minutes drive. So you can go. It's a beautiful course at the foot of the Alpi. So very hilly. Not an easy course, but very nice, very nice. If you want, I can write. If you let me know, Corinne, I can give you a little list.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll definitely book some golf in.
And then Arles. So Arles is an amazing town once again. So that's a view. That's a picture of the amphitheater, of the Roman amphitheater, and that's a view of the city, so that you really understand. The picture was taken right here. Okay, and again, look where the ships are docked. That's actually, this one here is our Amacello. Kristin mentioned earlier that there's a second ship on the river. That's our Amacello right there. And so you just basically, you get out of the ship, you walk through the park, you go up the street, and you're right there. So you have the amphitheater, you have the Odeon here, okay? Back there, you see another very old building. So that's the oldest church actually in town. So this one is from the 10th century. If you continue back down here, you have the Roman terms, so the Roman bath. But it's not only Roman. What you have there as well, I'm sure that everybody knows Vincent van Gogh. And he, you know that he painted the Starry Night when he was in the south of France. And actually, he was just 15 minutes out of Arles. But there is also a lot of paintings, and one of them is very famous. It's called Le Café la Nuit, the coffee at night. And you can go there. The yellow, you know, this yellow coffee is located right here. And you can go there, you can sit there, you can, and everything is decorated like the way it was. You can take pictures. They are even on the other side of the street. There are spots where they show you where to take the best picture with an iPhone, with a DSLR camera. So it's really, really well done. And you have these tours. You visit all that with your guide. Very important. You will see that all these tours, you will be split in small groups. Why do we do that? Because we want to make sure that that you are comfortable with the quality of information that you will get, but also that the guide is comfortable. Because you can imagine, if you just look at the mess that it is here in this street, it turns everywhere. And if you have a group of 40 people, the probability of losing somebody is rather high. If you have groups of 10 or 15 people, that does not happen. So which means that you have a guide who is relaxed, you have guests who are relaxed, the guide also has the time to tell her story, his or her story, and you have the time to ask your questions. Because if it's the first time you go there, it's fair enough to assume that you might have one question. And if you have a group of 40 people with everybody who has one question, that's an hour of time that goes away. So that simply doesn't work.
That's a very nice signature piece of AmaWaterways. That's definitely a standout piece that I highly recommend. And a sell for me is that the smaller groups compared to other river cruise companies. So I'm glad you touched on that.
Yeah, no, it is important. It's a great feature that we have. And then we will say goodbye to the ship. And then you have the possibility to continue to Barcelona. So same thing. On that note,
cheers first. You've spoken a lot. So here we are to Barcelona. Cheers. Take a sip, Sebastien. You're taking us there, which is absolutely fantastic. But I need to make sure you stay hydrated.
Thank you very much. Thank you. No, it is very important. Yeah, Barcelona. Again, a very, very easy, very smooth transfer. We take the bullet train. So we will take you to Nîmes. So Nîmes is this, it's a town located approximately 40 minutes away from Arles. And it has an amphitheater that is even in better shape than the one in Arles. It has another Roman temple, like the one in Vienne, but this one is called La Maison Carrée. And there you board the TGV, so the bullet train, and the bullet train takes you to Barcelona. So that's a little view. So I'm sure that you've seen these colors and these ceramics. So that's the Parc Güell, the Parc Güell, very signature park from Antonio Gaudi. But I like this view. Okay, the Sagrada Familia. So that's, I mean, I'm sure by the time you will go there, it will have changed again, because of course the Tower of Jesus that is right here in the middle, I mean, by now it should be around here. And it's a great town. We will be staying at the Meridian Hotel, which is in the middle of the Rambla. It's a beautiful hotel. You're in the middle of everything. But what I like is that it's on a side street. So you're super close to everything, but you don't have the noise. And that's really a great place. And then when you're there, of course, when you are on the ship, I mean, of course, breakfast, lunch, dinner, etc., everything is included. On the pre and post extension, the breakfast is included. Lunch and dinner is on your own. I strongly recommend you go to your cruise manager and you ask, where should we eat? What should, I mean, you have restaurants in Barcelona that are out of this world. I mean, the food is simply amazing. You really will love the place. But so we will have a tour again of Barcelona. So it will take you by bus. There will be stops where you will be able to walk in different parts of the city. The city tour of Barcelona lasts about 4 hours because you have a lot to see. But you're from the 4 hours, you'll be a little bit less than half on the bus, and it's very nice. It's very well split. You will see Montjuic, which is the oldest part of the city. You will of course go to the Sagrada Familia. You will see very interesting La Casa Batlló. So really the most interesting parts, the Olympic area. So really a beautiful town, and you will have some free time in the afternoon, and then the next morning, and that's probably the earliest tour that we will have because we ask everybody to be ready at 7:50. And I know it's, oh my gosh, it's a shock after 14 days of 8, 9 o'clock. I mean, it's not, but we go there. Okay, and that's the last tour, and it's an amazing tour. I mean, Montserrat, it's about 45 minutes out of the city, so you drive there. And why do we go so early? Because we want you to see the site alone. And this monastery right here in the middle of the mountain, you will be starting, if you look at my cursor, down here. And it's a cable car that will take you all the way up. And you see, so here you see the arrival of the cable car. It's absolutely fascinating. And what we do, the reason why we go that early is because we go with the workers. We take the first train. There is no tourists, there is nobody, because in the monastery you have the Black Madonna, which is really a pilgrimage site. Even some of our guides, they walk from Barcelona to the top of the mountain. So that's a good 45 miles. So they do that in 3 or 4 days because it's 45 miles. But after that, you have to climb. Approximately 2,500 feet. So it's really a big place of pilgrimage. It's a beautiful place. There is also even another funicular that you can take on your own, and the guides will show you, and I strongly recommend it. There's a mini cable car that goes all the way up there, and you have a view. I mean, what you see back there, you see, so you won't see that because you will be there in September. So, but these are the Pyrenees, okay? The Pyrenees Mountains. So you see the snow, of course, but you have an absolutely fantastic view when you're up there. And the monastery of Montserrat is really one of the most important places for the Barcelonians to go when it comes to religion and resourcing themselves. That's on the last day. So you leave at 8 o'clock in the morning, you come back around 2:30, 3 p.m. So you still have some time in the afternoon relaxing, and then the day after that, it's either time to go home or to go somewhere else, or maybe on your next cruise, or who knows. So we look forward to welcoming you on board. That's a picture that we took. So if you're searching for me, I'm there. I'm actually right here. You see, so that's the top of my head, because I came late, and so the only thing I could do was to read, and that's really me. I mean, it's so that's our whole AMA family, and we will have a great time. I'm heading out. I mean, Kristin is heading out in 3 weeks. I'm going in 6 or 7 weeks, and you will see. We will have a great time. And now I guess we can first, before going to the Q&A, I think it's important to mention that we will have another, and I will let you talk. I will drink.
Yeah, absolutely. Time for you to drink, Sebastien. So we have another one of these next month. We really wanted to make sure we keep you inspired of the world that's waiting for you out there. So next month, so the 18th of next month, we're actually really featuring the Egyptian cruise. We have a group departure next year, but you can go anytime. But what makes it so special is the itinerary. It's phenomenal, with Petra beforehand, a chance for Red Sea. We're talking about possibly Morocco and Gulf afterwards, Cairo with Gulf beforehand, but just the chance to customize is incredible. And then if you're interested in this itinerary, Doug and I are actually leading many of you are joining us on this trip this year. And so we really wanted to keep the dream alive and let you know what you have to look forward to. And so this trip we're doing in September, but you can do this anytime also. And I really enjoy the way that AMA gives you a chance to explore the world. Unpack once, do your own thing, or join when you want. And taste and experience the local cuisine, meet the local farmers, that whole table, farm to table experience, happy hours whenever you want them, a nice small intimate staff that you know by name, and a group that when you want to have a happy hour with is there for you. But I just wanted to shout out, because we have Aussies here. I'm so excited that the world opens with Australia on Monday. I cannot wait to see all of you. And I just, sticking on the right-hand side here, just wanted to, it's nice to be having a little bit of a recognition after 2 years of craziness, but we've made the Travel and Leisure's A-list of travel advisors for the world. And it's such a privilege. That was announced last week. So we'll continue to inspire you. I have an incredible team who are just fantastic. I love them dearly, and they're as passionate as I am about making sure you get to explore the world right and meet the right people the way you want. And so on that, Sebastien, we have just a couple, because we're over the hour and there's not a lot of specific questions. Thank you, Barbara, for the shout out. I'm so honored and privileged to be on that Travel and Leisure A list. It's a very, after 26 years, I'm thrilled. Sebastien, I'm just going to hit on a couple of small questions, and then anything else we'll email around everybody with the recommended wines, and of course, golf and all those little bits and pieces that make this your unique trips. So everyone's trip, even though they'll be together, will be different. During COVID times, what should we expect? That, of course, a long period of time between now and September. Many countries are doing away with testing completely. I see that trend happening more and more. But what do you see? This is just a personal opinion, so we know that this might change. How is it going to be as close to normal as possible pre-COVID times in September?
I think it will be very close to normal, because of course we see that some restrictions are lifted for people, and as usual, I mean, I think I spent my last 2 years, I was talking with Kristin, and she was like, so what did you think was the most difficult when it came to talking about COVID? Because I was in touch with our French, I have friends of mine who work at the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And so I got some really precise information about what was coming, etc. And I told her, I said, I spent my time clearing the air here, because we heard tons of information that were, and it's not always that they were that they were wrong, but they were incomplete, right? All the information that we received was never complete. So yes. We see restrictions moving. I mean, for me, the biggest move was that Germany said we are lifting restrictions. I mean, when I saw that, I'm like, okay, yeah. they stopped being German. So that's, which is a great thing that they are German, But for example, we take Catalonia, okay? We take the region of Barcelona. They lifted completely the QR code. So it's not even about being vaccinated or not. They just, so there will be a lot of changes. I mean, what we can expect is really that the situation people know now, okay, we have to live with it. And France is reopening in 3 days. The stadiums, the discotheques, everything completely normally. So
same as Australia. France and Australia open the same day. It's just wonderful. I'm very excited.
Yeah, no, we will come back to. I think we will be very, very close to normal. The question is, what will happen for people who are not vaccinated, etc. That's a question that I cannot answer. Many people ask us, so what do you do? And I always have to say the same thing. I say, it's not what I do. Me, AmaWaterways, is if you want to enter the country, first of all, if you want to board the plane, you will have to be vaccinated. If you're not getting on the plane. So it's not us. So that's why it's very important. And if you want to know the latest update, I really encourage everyone on our website. You have this travel update section, And I know, Corinne, you look at it, but
Yeah.
it's a great source of information for everyone because that's only governmental sources. There is no media from left and right because we can't afford to give wrong information to our guests.
Yeah,
So,
that is absolutely right. We'll guide you the whole way. We've also, all of our team has traveled in the last 12 months overseas. So if you really have detailed questions about what it's like to travel, please reach out. We certainly are well versed on this. We'll keep you informed, but it's truly too soon to make really grand statements because it does change dramatically month to month, week to week, hour to hour. So we're here for you, anything that you need, and we'll keep you informed. But any questions before we sign off here, feel free to turn your mic on at this point. We're a nice, small, intimate group. And any questions? I mean, Sebastien, besides really one of these days we need to do a group together. We need to go have a fun golf, food, wine experience. It's a must.
I'm in.
Anybody else?
Was that so clear?
On that note, we wish you all a wonderful Friday evening, Saturday morning, and thank you for joining us for an hour. And
Thank you.
it's so good. Dylan, have a great weekend, and cheers, everybody.
Same to you.
Cheers, everyone.
All soon.
Thank you for staying so long. I know I talked a lot, but I hope it wasn't.
We'll see you later, shows.
See you, good people.
Fabulous.
See you, Dennis.
Bye.
Bye, mate. All good.